Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you very much for joining us today. My name is Alina Islam, and I'm a mining analyst here at Red Cloud Securities. I'm very pleased to present ESGold to you today. They are a company focused on reprocessing tailings from their Montauban Gold and Silver Project in Quebec, but they also have additional exploration potential at the property, which our presenter here, Gordon Robb, CEO from the company, is going to discuss. Once the presentation is over, we will conclude with a Q&A session. So please put your questions into the comment section and we will get through as many as we can at the end. Before we get started, I do need to mention the fine print. For ESGold, there may be some forward-looking statements made on this webinar. Please read the cautionary note on page 2 of the ESGold corporate presentation located on the company's website. For Red Cloud Securities, I would highlight that this webinar is for information purposes only and should not be considered a solicitation to purchase or sell securities or a recommendation to buy or sell securities. We note that this webinar does not take into account the particular situation or needs of individual investors. Participants should rely on their own investigations and seek their own professional advice before investment. Please see our most recent research located on our website for ESGold specific disclosures. And with that, I'll hand it over to you, Gordon. Please take it away.
Thank you, Alina. My name is Gordon Robb. I am the Chief Executive Officer and Director of ESGold. I want to thank you all for joining us today for a webinar our second scheduled webinar with Red Cloud, and thank you for having us. I'm going to jump right in here. As Alina mentioned, we are a company focused on reprocessing tailings from the past producing Montauban mine. With the revenues from tailings, we plan on property-wide exploration of a very underexplored past production mine. As Alina mentioned, I will be making some forward-looking statements today. But our business overview is quite simple. We have a fast track to revenue through the tailings on surface. We're fully permitted to process these tailings with a mill on site. This is an ESG-driven reclamation project. We are cleaning up a known liability that lies with the province. There is dangerous chemicals in these tails that have been left throughout the town of Montauban de Notre Dame. There's a tremendous need by the community, the province, and the country to clean this up. But with that, we have a district scale discovery potential. This was a past producing mine that produced down to about 200 meters at depth, never had any property-wide exploration, and was focused predominantly on lead and zinc. It gives us tremendous potential to be able to explore this properly with new technology, more drilling, and a more holistic approach in the gold and silver space. And this is a very capital efficient business model. By getting our mill up and running, we're able to utilize the revenue from the tailings to further fund exploration and development. The management team consists of myself as CEO, Paul Masmentuno as our Chief Operating Officer. He's also the founder and has been with this project specifically for the last 15 years. Peter Espig recently joined the board earlier this year. Andre Giote, world-renowned geologist who's been heading up our exploration space, has done our A&T survey. He is a tremendous asset in the exploration and the geology side of this. Very excited about the potential that this asset has. Both Claude Duplessis and Edmond Saint-Jean are tremendous engineers that have been working on this project for quite a few years, very familiar with getting it up and running. Our share structure consists mostly of what I like to call love money. As I mentioned, this has been in the works last 15 years, been bootstrapped by friends and families, funding this, working on it, putting little bits of money that they had at the time to get the permitting done, to get a PEA done, to do the drilling, to get that 43101 resource on the tails, to figure out the exact amount of tonnage. In the last year, this has really caught the eye of the market to show that quick path to cash flow and the exploration potential. But this has been predominantly funded by that friends and family we see here. And that includes two strong family offices out of the United States that are both 9.9% holders. Stepping into the Montauban project, We are 80 kilometers west of Quebec City, about an hour drive from Quebec City, and about a 2-hour drive from Montreal. You can see here, Montreal's here, Quebec's here, we're located here. The infrastructure is unbelievable. We drive to site. I have been on site, gone to Quebec City for lunch, and come back to site. There is nothing on the infrastructure side that you want, that we don't have. You can see here, the town runs through these large tailings piles. It goes house, house, tailings pile, house, house, house. Community is very in support of us getting to work in here and cleaning up the tails. The Montauban site opportunity is quite obvious. This is a premier jurisdiction working in Quebec. It's a favorable jurisdiction to work in. As I mentioned, all the infrastructure is in place when it comes to road, power, water. Everything that we need is already in place. This is a very near-term cash flowing project with the tails on surface, our mill in construction and almost underway here. Our building has been completed 3 weeks ago. We are currently in the process of installing equipment. And as I will talk about, there is significant discovery potential here. The past production at the Montauban mine, as I mentioned, was predominantly lead and zinc. From 1913 to 1944, this was lead and zinc. They mined predominantly on surface, never really going deeper than 200 meters at depth. In 1948 to 1955, the company changed hands, but again, lead and zinc focused, gold and silver both being a byproduct. And then in 1983 to 1990, this is after the price of gold rolled over, but it was very cheap to be able to operate. So in an uneconomic situation to be mining gold, is the Montauban still worked. They focused, because all the infrastructure was in place, then they focused on gold and silver, pulling out just shy of 100,000 ounces of gold in that 7-year of operation, shutting down in 1990, again, due to poor economics, not because they ran out of material. We have done the work on the tailings resource. We have about 1 million metric tons in these 4 piles here. You can see in the top left corner, the building in place there. We've actually done an extension, which I will talk about further. First tailings pile, Anacon Lead 1, Anacon Lead 2, Tetro 1, and Tetro 2. You can see all 4 of these tailings piles are right in the town, very close to the building, and high environmental liability that we look forward to cleaning up for the township. The drilling that's been done along those tails has been about 16 meters on average drill hole. All of it has been done just to be able to test the exact amount of the tonnage in the tails. So we know exactly how much we're dealing with. We have a mine life. We know the runway. We know how long it's going to take to process those tails. But we look forward to stepping out and doing some property-wide drilling for the exploration to be able to expand this resource. We have a historic resource on the surface crown pillar. You can see here, Moscatreux was the company that operated in 83 to 1990 that focused strictly on gold and silver. And in the north zone here, those red blocks, as well as the south zone, we have a historic resource just shy of 400,000 tons, about 50,000 ounces of gold, and just shy of 500,000 ounces of silver. This is all along surface, along that surface crown pillar. We look forward to defining that. But as you can see in that north block and south block, we still see a lot of potential along that entire crown pillar, showing that this is a very mineralized area, as well as this is near surface, known tonnage, easy access to be able to go in and mine. We have not included this in our mine plan yet, but we look forward to be able to put this in with some definition drilling, be able to come away with some strong targets. And again, as you can see, it runs right through town here. We have done some groundwork on the exploration front and come away with some very exciting grab samples. A lot of this area has been untested. And as I mentioned, there has been no property-wide exploration. This is where this project gets very exciting, is with all that near-term cash flowing tailings on surface that we can process in the next few months, is there is a lot of room here to be able to expand this resource and be able to step out. We see a lot of outcroppings at surface. The grab samples have been phenomenal. We look forward to continuing to walk this property and being able to find the edges of what we're looking at. We have done geophysics. We did a VTEM survey a few years ago, and we coupled that with an A&T survey that we released a few months ago. This gave us strong indication of mineralization. The A&T survey showed with which is called an ambient noise topography, which sends pulses down through the earth in a very non-invasive way. We found structure down to 1,200 meters at depth. If you recall, this has not been explored deeper than 200 meters before. So there's significant structure down at depth as well as along strike. We look forward to be able to expand on that. We're currently looking at doing another A&T right now, rather than focusing solely on the Montauban, but on the entire property, the few different areas. This is a non-invasive way to be able to get a solid understanding of what's below our feet. Where ESGold is different than the traditional mining model is you always see people come in, raise money to do the exploration, find the discovery, then step off, raise a lot of money to go into the development side. With us focusing on getting this mill up and running, producing through the tails that we have on surface, we're able to generate our own revenue, self-funding exploration and development. We get to skip that entire dip you see in the Lassonde curve as people walk away waiting for this to get built. Because after a discovery, you can see between 5, 10, even 20 years before rocks are turned into dollar bills. And that is the core of this business, is the quickest, most efficient way to turn rocks into dollar bills. By processing the tails that are on surface, we're able to do this quickly, efficiently, and cost efficiently, and be able to take that revenue to further expand this asset through exploration, development, adding to the mine life with a mill already permitted, in place, and producing. The work completed over the last 15 years is nothing short of miraculous. With a very limited budget, we've been able to put roads in place, been able to upgrade the building, order specific equipment, work on the infrastructure, power to site. We've recently upgraded our 16,000 square foot milling facility to 20,000 square feet. We've added a gold room as well as a laboratory. This was completed 3 weeks ago. We are finally buttoned up. We are fully insulated. All electricity is running. We're quite proud of the work that we've done over a very short period of time. And the last year has been quite transformative for ESGold, stepping into 2026, which will be the most transformative year to date. But the value drivers here are quite simple, right? We are a production-ready asset. We are fully permitted for 1,000 tons per day. The infrastructure advantage is bar none. We have roads to site. The town is right there. We're a 5-minute drive to site. The resource expansion is currently underway with further exploration work, including the A&T. The discovery potential at depth is very exciting. Coming from my past experience in the exploration space, this is what gets people excited, is finding that big deposit. We're very excited about exploring a past producing mine that's never been explored properly. And this is also could be a scalable growth pattern. Like, what we're doing here is taking historic waste that is a known liability, cash flowing, and being able to build from there. We look forward to Montauban being the first of a very successful model. I look forward to questions. This is a nice 30,000 foot overview of ESGold and what we have going on. Currently, we are in the construction process. It's not as exciting as the exploration side right now. We look forward to getting some drill holes in the ground, hopefully in the next few months as we push toward following our 3D model that was recently released. We have a lot of exciting news to come and getting ready for that first gold pour in 2026.
Okay, thanks a lot, Gordon. So like you said, I guess we can get started on the questions now. To our audience, please put your questions into the comment section at any time. So Gordon, just a couple of questions. Can you talk about, you're starting with 500 tons per day at the pilot plant. What's the plan to ramp that up to 1,000 tons?
It's a good question. So our original plan was to start with that 500 ton per day pilot plant. We have done the work. You can look through the PEA. We're $35 a ton in processing costs, which is quite remarkable. But again, trucking is very cheap considering everything is so close. Is our goal here is to start at 500 tons per day rather than ramp up immediately to 1,000 tons per day. This gives us revenue to be able to upgrade, as well as figure out the kinks of what's working, what's not, and be able to get this running as efficiently as possible. Is many businesses, aside from the mining space, start small, add revenue, and continue to grow. As well, we are permitted for 1,000 tons per day. We want to make sure that this is done effectively and efficiently. And that's why we wanted to come in with start with a 500 ton per day operation, make sure that we're running efficiently and smoothly, and then being able to ramp up, build, upgrade our mill to that 1,000 tons per day.
Okay. I guess second question here. So you talked about, Montauban, the reprocessing, the underground exploration potential. But just curious, how does Bolivia fit into that strategy, and how do you sort of prioritize, Quebec versus Bolivia?
So I believe you're thinking of Colombia.
Sorry, yes.
Yes. So we
Yeah.
have an MOU with a company in Colombia looking at a very similar project. We're currently in our due diligence phase right now. We're looking at the grades, making sure that the same model works. That we're going in. It's a very low capital cost of capital to get started. Now, our priority is getting Montauban up and running. That is our priority: is getting cash flow. This project's been worked on for a long time between the infrastructure build out, the permitting process, the amount of drilling that we've done is where we've done the work to get to where we are, and we want to make sure that we get this across the line. But that being said, we don't want to pigeonhole ourselves and not being able to look at other opportunities. So with the Colombia MOU, it's very exciting to be able to step into different jurisdictions, but we want to make sure that it's the right move for our shareholders. So with that comes a lot of due diligence work. With our limited team, we want to make sure that Montauban first is up and running, and that we do is much due diligence in Colombia or on any other project that comes to us that could be an opportunity before we jump in.
Okay. Next question here, Gordon. Can you please specify the timeline until the start of production? I guess, you mentioned 2026, but more clarity if you can provide that on when certain milestones will be reached.
No, absolutely right. We're in a very exciting period right now. As I mentioned, the building's done. We have certain equipment on site that is being put into the building right now. We are in the procurement process of other equipment that's needed. We'll be working through the winter. We always have that seasonality issue in Quebec in those cold months. Uh, with our Ocean Partners agreement of funding that we have from Ocean Partners has given us tremendous confidence to be able to move full steam ahead here. And we're looking ideally here in the summer of 2026 for the first gold pour. Is we don't want to start too early, is we want to make sure that the buildings or that the mill is up and running fully functional before we put our first feed through it. The gravity separation has worked very well with the mica that we've already seen. So we're very confident about moving forward on the metallurgy stance. It's just about the construction. We always run into some lead time issues. So we want to, I would say, manage expectations. And summer of 2026 is very realistic.
Okay. I don't see any more questions, but maybe I'll just give it a couple of seconds if there's anyone on the line that has any last minute questions.
What I can speak to now is on the funding side. Currently, we do have $10.5 million in the bank. We also have a commitment from Ocean Partners for $9 million in an offtake agreement. That puts us well over the line to get this up and running. We're also looking now at doing more of an exploration plan. This 3D model that was recently released has excited us in a lot of ways we didn't originally anticipate, giving us a lot more targets that I want to drill right away, but we're going to take our time and make sure that we have revenue first before potential discovery. But we'd like to get a drill in the ground in 2026 as well. We're currently working on an exploration plan as well as that property-wide A&T survey that Andre Giote is heading. the way it works in Quebec is we need to submit our exploration plan with our permits. So we're currently working on that right now to get a few drills in the ground, be able to explore that surface crown pillar a little bit more with some definition drilling, as well as some step out holes, which would, this is, I, it's, of course, it's my opinion that we're sitting on top of something very exciting that really has never been explored properly. Is a lead and zinc mine in the early 1900s is they were mining what they could see, right? They never were able to take a look at this the way it actually deserved to be looked at. So the exploration potential here has gotten a lot more exciting over the last few weeks as we release this 3D model and we continue to add to it, putting in the past workings, the past drilling that's been done, the geophysics that's been done. It's given us some drill targets that we're looking forward to going after.
I guess we had a couple of more questions come in. So the first one here, do you consider Colombia to be a safe jurisdiction?
I think that's a great question, right? Like that's part of our due diligence is we need to look at all aspects before we send our team down there and we start going in reprocessing tails. Is I think is Colombia safe jurisdiction that certainly can be in certain areas. We want to make sure that the area we are is safe, right? There are some fantastic Colombian operations that operate smoothly due to where they are. So we're going to be looking at every factor when it comes to the geology front, but also the social the social implications to make sure that we're operating the right area, that we're being as safe and responsible as possible.
Okay, next question, also about Colombia, but why the jump from Quebec all the way to Colombia?
Oh, that's a very good question. I don't necessarily think it's a jump from Quebec just to Colombia. I think it was an opportunity that we saw. Is again, this was tailings on surface. This is old artisanal mines that use mercury on the ore, so the recoveries have been no more than 50%, leaving a lot of material that is contaminated on surface. It wasn't so much about going strictly to Colombia. It was about identifying the right opportunity. And that's what it continues to be about. So once we identify the right opportunity, we want to make sure that we check all the boxes that fits with our business plan moving forward, whether it be in Colombia, whether it be Peru, whether it be in Africa, whether it be in the United States. There is a lot of tailings projects that remain environmental liabilities with material on surface. And in this environment right now, what we're seeing is gold continuing to rise, silver continuing to rise, is there is a lot of value left in mining waste on surface that we can easily go after in a very low cost of capital to be able to get into a revenue generating model.
Okay, next question here, Gordon. What is the profit sharing relationship with Ocean Partners?
Oh, that's a good question. So it's less of a profit sharing agreement, more so of they're our customer. They get the first rate, have access to the first 1,000,000 ounces of silver, first 50,000 ounces of gold. And they are our exclusive partner. They'll be picking it up, and that's who we will be selling to. Is certain metals traders would like to, I would say, secure the material, secure the ore, secure the doré. And that is the agreement we have with Ocean Partners. So we will be selling directly to Ocean Partners.
Can you speak to the yearly operating cash flows generated from gold production versus reinvestment into exploration? What is the expected cash flow profile over the next 3 years?
It's a good question. Now, when we start with 500 tons a day, it's different if we went to the full 1,000 tons per day. But what we're looking at right now, if you were to do the rough math on 12,000 ounces of gold, 1,000,000 ounces of silver, but also the 57,000 tons of mica as well, we're looking at roughly $110 million in revenue in tails. And that's in marketable tails material. With our costs being $35 a ton, which is pretty simple. We're looking at just north of $70 million on net profit. That will be, we will decide how to reinvest that as we see potential exploration, potential development, especially when it comes to the surface crown pillar, is what needs to be invested and where into making sure that we're able to increase the mine life of this project. But if you were to take a look at our PEA, which I would suggest that everyone on this call does, is you can look at our exact costs, you can look at our revenue projections using $2,700 gold. Is we are very excited about the profitability of this in this current gold and silver environment. It's important to remember that our founder, Paul Massimiliano, was on this project 15 years ago. It made sense then. Now we're in a completely different environment and the numbers have not changed. So we're very excited about getting into this. This is material left on surface. The costs are incredibly low. We are not mining yet. We are processing. We are taking material on surface, putting into a truck and processing it a kilometer away. This is very low capital cost to be able to get this into a cash flowing model.
Okay, a couple of questions here on exploration. I guess first, can you add more color on the exploration timeline? Is that being expedited considering the 1,200-meter imaging at depth?
So that's a good question. So I would say it wasn't being expedited because of the A&T survey. It would be more expedited now due to the recent 3D model. We're currently working on doing a property-wide A&T survey that really steps out on areas that we've never explored before to be able to get a solid understanding of, again, what's below our feet. And then we're putting a drill plan together. Ideally, we'd like to get, and I'm not talking anything substantial. Our goal here has always been production first, then reinvest that money into exploration and discovery. But by using a bit of the time that we have as we continue to push towards our first pour, we are in the construction, the procurement, the installation stage right now. It'd be nice to be able to have some exploration targets in that time period. With the 3D model that's come out, it looks like we have that. We'd like to be working on some exploration in Q1, Q2 of next year.
Are you exploring toward the northern tip of the property?
It's certainly in our realm right now. We will be. I don't want to put a timeline on that. We are in the exploration planning phase right now. That the 3D model was released a few weeks ago. We've been working off that, as well as continuing to add the information that we do have to that to be able to have the best understanding of what makes sense to target first. So yes, we would like to explore to the north. Whether that is the immediate targets is undetermined at this point, but there's a lot of work being done in the background about the exploration plan moving forward and what we're planning on doing in 2026.
Okay, just a follow up on the A&T survey. How big and what kind of deposit do you think this can be?
Oh, that's such a tough question to ask a CEO because I want to go off and talk about how this is the greatest thing that's ever been, that is about to be discovered. However, what we're looking at right now is what we do know is that this is substantially bigger than what they originally thought, right? This is a VMS system that we're finding structure down to 1,200 meters at depth. We see structure along strike. We have not been cut off yet. So how big can this be? Where can this go? It's undetermined, but right now it's a lot bigger than we thought. So we look forward to getting a drill in the ground. We look forward to continuing with an A&T survey, being able to step out. I mean, if we get cut off, we get cut off. But at this point, we haven't. So when we get a drill in the ground, we're going to have a better understanding of what we're looking at. As we do more geophysics, we're going to have a better understanding of what we're looking at. But as we see it right now, we're just scratching the surface.
Okay. Couple of more questions, Gordon. Does ESG have enough cash until the first sales of gold to replenish the coffers, or is another PP needed?
So we have enough cash to get into production. Now, the question comes down to the exploration. So whether we want to do a small flow through raise to be able to fund this exploration, we want to use some of that contingency and do a smaller exploration. Is currently we are in a very good financial position to be able to move forward. So we have, as I mentioned, we have about $10 million in the bank. We have $9 million from Ocean Partners in 2 tranches there for development. When it comes to the exploration, it just decides on what we're going to do there. If we see an opportunity to do a charity raise or a flow through raise to be able to put a few drill holes in the ground, there's an opportunity, makes sense for the right opportunity, we may take advantage of that. But right now we are cashed up and moving forward.
Okay, at what price will you be selling to Ocean Partners?
Ah, that is a very good question. Um, it is put on a. It's not a fixed price. What it is a percentage of spot. So on Dore, the payables are fantastic. The past project I worked on was all done on concentrate, so payables change depending on the grade of gold. Now with gold, silver, Dore, we are, I believe, 99.8% on gold and 98% on silver. So very strong payables, but that will be based off spot. So we're not fixed to a specific price. We don't have any hedging in place, so it is based on spot, and the payables when it comes to Dore are unbelievable.
Okay, I think this is the last question, which I think I will be able to answer. But the question was, would it be possible to save this broadcast somewhere? And I just want to let everyone know that a replay will be available on the Red Cloud website tomorrow.
I'm glad you answered that because I wouldn't have been able to.
Okay, well, thank you very much, Gordon, for taking time to host this webinar with us today.
Thank you, and thank you everyone for that tuned in. If you're here, you're in the right spot. Just with gold and silver being the place to be. We're in very precarious times in the world, and hard assets are going to continue to win. So near-term cash flowing models are going to be sought after. We're very very happy about the position we're currently in.
Okay, and just as a reminder for our audience, our next webinar will feature silver store mining, and that's tomorrow, November 25th at 2 p.m. Eastern. Thanks for tuning in with us, everyone. Have a great day.